You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week.
Hello, I'm Laura Painter. You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week. Congress members weigh in on the possibility of mass deportations during a second Trump administration and who would be targeted. Plus, in dollars and cents, we explore the best place to park your savings in 2025. Then we hit the back roads. John Bartel takes us on a tour of San Diego Bay on a vehicle that takes you by land and sea. ABC 10 Plus This Week starts right now.
And tonight, the nation is preparing for the Trump transition. Come Monday, Donald Trump will become president yet again. The president-elect has made many sweeping declarations about what he hopes to do once he's back in office. They include mass deportations, closing the border, and ending birthright citizenship, claims that have put many Californians on edge. And over the past several weeks, ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen has been talking to our representatives in Congress, getting their stances on the record regarding immigration, and also talking to people on the ground working with our immigrant community, asking what they think will happen in this next administration.
It's a very tough thing to do. But you have to have, you have rules, regulations, laws. They came in illegally.
It's a campaign promise from incoming President Donald Trump. And during an interview with NBC's Meet the Press in December, he doubled down on his threat to deport people and families living in the United States without legal documentation.
I don't want to be breaking up families, so the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together and you have to send them all back.
These comments creating fear, especially in the greater Sacramento area.
The fear of family separation is really having a significant impact. So parents have started disenrolling their children from benefits because they're so afraid.
Leaving many families with the question of how soon could this possibly happen.
Trump administration is likely to reach out to state and local governments to seek their assistance in enforcement during this deportation campaign.
Do you believe this will be a reality?
I think that we're going to see very tough immigration enforcement measures for the next 4 years.
During Trump's first administration, then Governor Jerry Brown signed SB 54 into law, banning state and local law enforcement from working with ICE with few exceptions. In a recent interview, Brown told ABC 10,
the subsequent legislation, I think, has taken it broader, and some of the cities, like San Francisco, have gone way beyond in their effort to create a wall, almost a separation of state and federal government. I think that is going to prove difficult.
Republican California Congressman Tom McClintock has supported Trump's plan for deportation and believes it would happen soon. He emphasized a focus on people with a criminal record.
I think you're going to see an orderly deportation. It will start with the 500,000 illegal migrants who have criminal records who've been allowed into this country.
And when it comes to DACA recipients, Democrat California Congressman Ami Bera says he hopes there can be an agreement with his colleagues on finding a solution to keep them in the states.
Maybe they do a year, 2 years of service, Peace Corps, Teach for America, other things. But let's come up with a way to, many of these people have been in our communities for a long time, to allow them to have some peace of mind.
What is being done to prepare right now, and how are families preparing for what may or may not happen?
Know what agencies are available to assist you in the event that you get detained, and to always know that you have the right to have an attorney advise you on both the criminal and the immigration impacts.
All right, so Jeannie has been following this for us. And Jeannie, we know there are a lot of unknowns right now, but there has been legislation introduced in Congress relating to immigration, right?
Well, Alex, during my conversation with Congressman Tom McClintock, he did say he was going to introduce a series of bills that would support deportation orders. And just last week, a bill was introduced with him as a co-sponsor that would authorize Homeland Security to suspend the entry of people at borders without proper documentation. Again, there are resources here locally through UC Davis Law Immigration Clinic for people who may be impacted.
Hearing from a health expert after the FDA announced a ban on red dye number 3 in foods and ingested drugs.
This comes after concerns the dye has been linked to cancer in animals. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has the details.
I think there's kind of an awakening going on right now about concerns about food, ultra-processed food.
Professor Asa Bradman is the chair of the Public Health Department at UC Merced. He's an expert on exposure assessment, and for more than 30 years, he has focused on children and environmental health. He says the FDA's ban on red dye number 3 in food and ingested drugs makes sense.
Red dye number 3 is a petroleum-derived artificial food coloring that's been used for many years in the United States.
According to the FDA, it gives food a bright cherry red color. The synthetic food dye is used mainly in foods such as candy, cakes and cupcakes, cookies, frosting, icings, and some dietary supplements and oral medicines like cough syrups. The ban is in response to a 2022 color additive petition after scientists discovered links to cancer in laboratory rats. Although it has been banned in makeup since 1990, for years it was allowed in food.
Because it's believed that the mechanism that was associated with thyroid cancer in rats wasn't present in humans. So it was judged that perhaps, even though humans may be ingesting it, that it may be unlikely to cause cancer in humans.
But the FDA banned it based on the Delaney Clause, which bans any carcinogenic additive. This also comes after Governor Gavin Newsom approved a bill prohibiting the use of red dye number 3 back in 2023. The professor believes all artificial food colors should be looked at, but says people shouldn't be afraid to eat foods like Skittles every once in a while.
I think people should be thinking a lot these days about staying away from ultra-processed foods and many of the synthetic ingredients.
In Sacramento, Roxanne Elias, ABC10.
Roxanne, thank you. The FDA is not prohibiting other artificial dyes, just red number 3. Food manufacturers will have until January 2027 to remove the dye from their products, and the makers of ingested drugs have until January 2028 to do the same. Now to the continued fight against retail theft with Prop 36.
A regional task force has now been announced combining Sacramento area law enforcement and district attorneys' offices. ABC 10's Devin Truby is here now. And Devin, you heard and saw some shocking things today.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. And it was a gathering of the who's who in the criminal justice world in our region. And now that Prop 36 has been in place for almost 30 days, they announced some early wins and shared some shocking footage of incidents in our area that I now bring to you.
This is security video from Raley's grocery stores in the Sacramento area showing violence and blatant theft.
These individuals are coming into our stores weekly, if not daily, stealing the same thing over and over again.
The Raley's at Fair Oaks Boulevard and Howe Avenue has seen the highest number of thefts of any store, more than $200,000 in liquor stolen alone. It's why it was chosen for the announcement of the new regional task force for Prop 36.
Sharing information, figuring out how best to implement Proposition 36 in a fair but effective way.
Police Chief Kathy Lester says in the city of Sacramento, you'll see patrol officers working with business partners like Arden Fair Mall. Lester shared in November the Lululemon was hit 19 times in 4 months, thieves getting away with $82,000 in merchandise. The good news, that theft ring has since been arrested. We asked Chief Lester, do they have the resources to keep it up?
I think that every law enforcement agency is suffering from not having enough staff to do what we would like to do, but that doesn't mean that we can't address the challenges before us.
San Joaquin County is also claiming a victory.
We've had a dozen prosecutions, but we're very proud that when the law took effect last month, we got the first felony conviction under Penal Code 666.1 in the state.
All the district attorneys and law enforcement from Placer to Stanislaus counties met later to discuss implementation. San Joaquin, Yolo, and Sacramento all have designated prosecutors and investigators specifically for Prop 36.
In Yolo, we filed about 20 total felonies on both retail thieves, recidivists, repeat thieves, and then people who are seriously addicted to hard drugs to get them into mandated treatment. We're doing exactly what Prop 36 promised to do.
Sacramento Mayor Kevin McCarty announced at the presser that in 2 weeks, there'll be an agendized city council session, including the police chief and district attorney, to discuss implementation of retail theft protocols in the city. Chris.
And now to an exclusive update to a story you saw first here on ABC 10. A veteran in Stockton turned to 10 on your side with concerns about wait times at the VA clinic. The local story has now led to a new bill being signed into law in Washington, D.C. that lawmakers insist will lead to improvements not just in Stockton, but across the nation. A doctor shortage left our nation's heroes waiting weeks, if not longer, just to make an appointment. Vietnam veteran Tino Adame told 10 on Your Side he was in the fight of his life with the Stockton VA clinic.
We have veterans that are dying in their cars, and we don't have the proper doctors there ready to take care of them.
The VA's own website showed the average wait time for a new patient to see a primary care physician at the Stockton VA clinic was 66 days back in September 2023. I called up Congressman Josh Harder in D.C. at the time to ask what he was doing to tackle the problem. He addressed the crisis on the House floor and got an amendment passed directing the VA to create an emergency plan for addressing the doctor shortage.
The root cause here is that doctors can make a lot more money, sometimes 2 or 3 times as much money, working at a private hospital as they can working at the VA. And so I don't fault somebody who has a whole lot of student loans going and working somewhere where they can make a living for their family, but we need a level playing field.
Just last spring, a brand new larger VA clinic opened in French Camp, and now in 2025, lawmakers have passed new legislation to tackle the issue.
This was written as the VA Competes Act, and it passed as part of a bill called the Elizabeth Dole 21st Century Veterans Healthcare Improvement Act. And I think it's a really exciting piece of legislation that veterans in Stockton are going to be seeing improvements from.
The bill aims to increase VA healthcare providers' salaries, requires annual performance evaluations and pay adjustments, and gives the VA secretary the power to waive pay caps when necessary.
And it's not just going to lower wait times for the VA in Stockton and across the country. It's going to also make sure that the best physicians want to work at the VA.
The VA sent this statement to 10 on Your Side, saying in part, we appreciate the ongoing partnership we have with Congress and our local elected officials. VA Northern California healthcare system has consistently and diligently worked to recruit, hire, and retain talented and dedicated providers to serve veterans in the Stockton area. These efforts have resulted in the hiring of new providers in 2024, which has significantly reduced wait times for new patients. And now, in addition to a new facility, Harder says this new law will bring positive changes to Stockton and beyond. The law also requires annual reports to Congress detailing which clinics made pay changes, how many employees were impacted, and what adjustments were made. And don't forget, ABC10 is here to help. Do you have a problem and don't know where else to turn? Email me at onyourside@abc10.com.
In tonight's Dollars and Cents, we're talking new year, new money goals. The new year's here, and now's the perfect time to rethink and reset your finances. For the next several weeks, we're looking into ways to build better money habits. One of your goals might be to save more. Tonight, we're talking savings accounts and what the new federal interest rate changes mean for you.
So we noticed the last couple of years, we were riding the wave of the interest rates increasing.
It spelled good news for your high-yield savings accounts, meaning the interest you earned also increased, at times reaching a high 6%. But financial specialist Shane Correa Fernandez says that's changing, with the Federal Reserve finally lowering its benchmark interest rate several times in 2024 as inflation started coming down after reaching record highs during the pandemic. So Shane, with some of the recent changes to the federal interest rates, what are some of the impacts for people's savings accounts?
When the Fed started decreasing the interest rates and inflation got under control, the money that banks were now giving us on our high yield savings accounts, the interest rate started decreasing. So now we're in the low 4%, and it's probably going to continue to drop.
Contrast that with a traditional savings account that typically earns barely half a percentage point interest.
But it's time to take a look at, okay, how much do I have in those accounts and where else should I be moving it?
You might consider other savings products beyond traditional savings accounts and high-yield savings accounts.
You might do a better job at your own individual brokerage account, some mutual funds, investing so that you at least make 6-7% annually. There's annuities that you can invest in.
Shane says these are some of the places you can put your money, watch it grow, and still be able to utilize it.
A brokerage account is very different from retirement. You have access to it. So if you needed money back, you could ask for it. Like, hey, send me back that money, or I need it. But while you don't need it, it's making money.
Shane says there are still some banks offering more than 4% interest on their high-yield savings accounts, so it could pay to shop around. And the conversation doesn't end here. You can find all of my Dollars and Cents stories streaming now on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. It's free and available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. You can also email me your questions at lpainter@abc10.com.
As wildfires continue to burn, many of the fire victims are trying to recover. According to FEMA, 40,000 people have applied for assistance so far, and many GoFundMe accounts are also raising money for victims.
But there is a warning tonight for victims who are raising money while also applying for assistance. ABC 10's Devin Truby joins us live in studio now to explain. Devin?
That's right, Laura. So does fundraising for wildfire assistance on a site like GoFundMe impact how much money you can receive from FEMA? The short answer is yes. Take a look at the question directly to FEMA. Here's what we learned.
That's it, man. We lost everything.
Shane Severson recording the moment he saw his Altadena home on fire last Wednesday after he and his family evacuated the night before for the Eaton fire.
We just thought that it was just going to be just that, just like the mountains like on fire and stuff. We were just like, okay, let's go. So we just took the clothes on our back.
This is what his home looks like now. Some bricks and the rest rubble. Like many people, Severson, his wife, and 3 kids created a GoFundMe account, a popular crowdfunding platform that victims often turn to in disasters to raise money. But now questions sparking online. Does crowdfunding impact the amount of federal assistance you can receive? The answer is yes.
You lose everything and you have nothing, and just, you're just like, what do we do?
Severson, like most, had no idea that FEMA even considered crowdfunding until we told him. His application for FEMA assistance is currently pending.
I've lost so much, and it's just, I feel like I need all the help I could get.
FEMA telling ABC 10 if you receive money from a GoFundMe page for a specific disaster-related expense, such as home repairs, funeral expenses, or other emergency needs, you may not be able to receive FEMA aid for the same expenses. FEMA addressed this with a video on social media Tuesday.
The government regulations prevent FEMA from providing financial assistance to replace items that have already been paid for by another source. These sources can include insurance payouts, GoFundMe and other platforms, and money received from nonprofit organizations. We know this can be frustrating, especially when you're trying to manage so much all at once. That's why we encourage you to carefully consider how you describe your needs when creating a GoFundMe page.
Now, FEMA recommends victims of any disaster start with their homeowner's insurance first. Then you can apply for FEMA assistance. Laura.
All right, Devin Truby, thank you.
Now, as firefighters fight these flames in LA, they are also fighting misinformation. Some claim that these fires could have been prevented through fuel management techniques like prescribed burns. I want to go ahead and bring in ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen. She's been asking fire officials and fire experts tonight if that's true.
Well, Alex, there's been a lot of finger pointing over the severity of these fires, and many claim the state is not doing enough prescribed burning. But after talking with fire officials at the federal and state level, there is a lot more decision making that goes into this kind of field management.
In fiscal year 23-24, we treated 106,000 acres.
In an effort to curb wildfires, California aims to treat 1 million acres of land in the state each year. CAL FIRE plays a major role in these field reduction projects along with other agencies.
500,000 acres from the forest, the federal areas, and then 500,000 between CAL FIRE and then all of our local response areas. And to divide it even further, CAL FIRE's goal is to treat 100,000 acres every year.
CAL FIRE, the state's fire agency, says it met its goal for the previous fiscal year. This comes after Republican lawmakers criticized the state on Monday, saying California is not meeting its field reduction goals as fires continue to burn in Southern California, claiming lives and property.
There was a commitment to doing 500,000 acres a year in treatment. There was a partnership actually between the state and the federal government that the governor was proud to announce when it came out. we have gotten nowhere near meeting those goals.
The U.S. Forest Service is part of the state's partnership, and right now, part of the Eaton fire is burning in their jurisdiction. As of October 2024, U.S. Forest says statewide it has done 3,500 acres of prescribed burns and more than 5,000 acres of mechanical treatments. The Forest Service says weather has played a big factor in trying to clear fuel in Southern California.
Southern California has not seen conditions appropriate for prescribed burning since last spring. So certainly we are not in any kind of condition in the southern half of the state to be looking at those prescribed fires now.
When asked if anything could have been done to prevent the destructive spread of the Southern California fires,
there's nothing. Let's just start with that. The conditions that we saw in Southern California last Tuesday were in above the 99.99th percentile of severity.
Environmental experts at Stanford University agree climate plays a major role in fire risks and management.
Even a large-scale fire break probably wouldn't have been effective in keeping the wildfire out of the communities. And once the communities are burning, the spread is from home to home, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the forest management.
While fires may be difficult to prevent, fire officials and scientists say homeowners can help minimize the spread by hardening their homes and property.
So far this fiscal year, CAL FIRE says they have treated just under 50,000 acres. They do have a public dashboard to keep track of their fuel reduction projects. If you want to check that out, we have posted a link on our website at abc10.com. Alex.
Jeannie, thank you so much.
When Spanish explorer Juan Cabrillo discovered San Diego Bay in 1542, it took him days to explore the surrounding area.
2, 1, sea lions!
But now, tourists can explore the bay in just under 2 hours by taking the Seal Tour.
You suppose Juan Cabrillo, he really would have liked to have this vessel instead of this one when he rolled in here?
I think it would have helped him out.
Not to be confused with a World War II duck boat, the Seal Tour, which stands for Sea and Land, is a custom 39-foot-long amphibious vehicle that holds over 40 passengers.
This is called a Hydroterra. It's designed for the road and the water, and we're the only ones in San Diego that do this.
Tour guide Dan Strobar gives one of the most versatile tours of San Diego, which takes you through the picturesque and historic streets, right before splashing down in the waters of the bay.
This is the one chance you might get carsick and seasick?
Very good. Yes, you're right. That could happen.
Motion sickness is not really a problem for most riders. The Seal Tour moves about 5 miles an hour in the calm waters of the bay, and there's plenty to look at in the open-air seating.
Now, here we go. We've got a tremendous amount of sea lions here on the left.
Despite being called Seal Tours, you're more likely to see sea lions instead of their smaller and quieter cousin, the seal.
How big are we talking?
Well, we're talking, there's a couple of them over here, 500, 600 pounds. And they'll eat 5% of their weight in fish every day.
Really?
So they'll eat that, and then they'll go into like a fish coma, and they'll sleep for 15 to 18 hours.
San Diego Bay attracts all sorts of aquatic life because Point Loma acts as sort of a shield from the open ocean.
We got some what are these, the blackbirds?
They're the cormorants, they're members of the penguin family. They're very good divers.
Penguin family?
Yeah.
Along with wildlife, the calm waters in the bay also attract military ships and sailboats. That's why explorer Juan Cabrillo anchored here in 1542. In fact, a replica of Cabrillo's ship, the San Salvador, still tours the bay today.
So if we were here in 1542, this is what we would see.
Of course, though, the bay looks much different and deeper.
The original harbor, the maximum depth would be 15 feet. Right now we're at about 20, 25 feet of water. The channel over here has 60 feet of water. This island over here is all made from the dredging of the harbor.
Juan Cabrillo died just a few months after discovering San Diego Bay, but thanks to his maps, other explorers were able to turn the city of San Diego into what it is today. Riding the Seal Tour in San Diego Bay, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
Thank you so much for watching ABC 10 Plus this week. We're here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Laura Painter. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Trust isn't given, but earned. It's built every day by doing the hard work, putting in the hours, doing the research, holding the powerful accountable, and being there when you need us most. Working hard to earn your trust every day, every newscast, every story. Watch weeknights at 6 or stream live on ABC 10 Plus.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look, it's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.